We're gonna do a song that you never heard before.
The volume.
Here they come and get wicked. Here we go again.
He's Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What up?
What's good with you, man?
Chilling, man. Wait for the game to kick off.
You said you waiting for what now?
For the Thunder game to kick off.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you this though, bro.
Mhm.
What's been the biggest surprise to you so far this season?
The trades. I think
The trade still.
the trades has been the biggest thing because honestly, nothing else has really happened. You know, the excitement right now for this particular season ain't gonna kick off until the playoffs get here. And the thing is that the reason why I was tripped out about the trades is because there was so much talk about Giannis and Ja Morant getting traded, and neither one of them got traded. So it told me what the league thinks of Ja Morant, and it told me about, you know, the selfishness of the Bucks. And at the same time,
Selfishness of the Bucks. And how? Explain that. Explain that.
because to me, the Bucks knows that the writing is on the wall. Yes, Giannis said theoretically he would like to remain a Buck, but he wants to win championships. Now, in the Bucks' defense, they have put pieces around him, and they still ain't got it done. I mean, they ain't even come out the East. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even like they made it back to the Eastern Conference Finals. So
Facts.
I'm not putting that all on the Bucks, but at the same time, you gotta know when it's over, right? And this is coming from somebody who loved Russell Westbrook, who loved Kevin Durant. But if we never got rid of them, we wouldn't have had a championship. So the thing is that the Bucks is gonna have, because what they're doing is they're giving Giannis more leverage, because next year he's only gonna have a year on his contract. So then he can say, I want to go here. And then if they say no, he gonna say, okay, no worries. And he will
I'm
leave.
going to his high voice and everything.
He's gonna go to his high
He's going to
voice.
go to the falsetto.
Okay, whatever you say, because he knows in the summer he out for nothing. So they're backing themselves in the corner. They had an opportunity to get the biggest haul. Teams were lining up to try to get him, and unfortunately, nobody got him. The other thing I will
the Bucks. Let me tell you this about that. I think that the Bucks. So this is the thing about it. To credit the Bucks, I just think that the Bucks never, when they brought Dame in, that was their move, right? They thought this was the one that could get us another championship. And when that kind of fell flat, and with Dame getting hurt, I think that still was the falling short, right? And I think that the big thing is that, you know, when it comes to building a team, it's hard to get people out to the Bucks, right? It ain't like the sexy free agent destination, right? For a Midwest city, it's typically the Bulls, though, man. And so I think that it's just tough for them boys to get people to want to come out there. That's going to be a player that's going to be on their level, though, man. So I think that
understood.
the Bucks moves have sure.
But this was the time to bring in people through the trade. This was the time. You could have asked for anything and folks would have been willing to give it. The closer it gets to Dame, the closer it gets for Giannis to leave the Bucks without him, the closest the Bucks would get, right? The closer it gets to him leaving, the more teams are gonna offer less.
It's just you don't have to give up everything, right? Because hey, you already know he's going to be gone.
100%.
I get that. I get that totally, though, man. I think that when I look at it, though, I think that I just look at it and I think of I don't think that it's for lack of trying. It just hasn't panned out. Now, maybe they're not saying we're not going to give up Giannis yet because we still think that there's another play to be made. Maybe that's what they're hopeful of, that they can build around him.
Yeah.
But you said what else? What else you got for the NBA that you thought was the biggest surprise for you?
Well, the biggest surprise, I mean, obviously, I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, so I think the biggest thing, we haven't been healthy all year long. It was still number one in the West. And, you know, we had a very, very super impressive win against the Cavaliers this past week where they had James Harden and Spider. And the thing was that, you know, they was on a 7-game win streak since they got Harden. So the fact that they were able to pull that out without Shea, without Dub, without AJ, I thought that was dope. So, yeah.
Yeah, see, I think so too. I'm gonna tell you my biggest surprise. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. My biggest surprise for this year has been the impact of Wemby, bro. I
Yeah.
think I told you at one point it's still a little weird on my eyes to see somebody that tall playing the way that he does. But I think that the part that really gets me the most is that like because it was so weird to my eye, it was hard to see that being like championship DNA or championship pedigree. But I think that the part that I'm very surprised about, man, is that I am very surprised at how much he impacts winning. I like the Spurs are a night and day different when he's on the court or off the court, and I'm talking about just within the game, and then also just when he's out resting or injury or whatever. It seemed like they get walked down when he is out, but he is running up the score when they own. I think the part that I'm blown away by as well, though, man, is that I appreciate that his defense, the impact of his defense, isn't necessarily about all the blocks, but it's the forcing you to take a higher degree of difficulty shot that you wouldn't do. I saw the other day they were playing against the Pistons, and they had somebody who just kept trying to float it over his hand, and he was so long that his tips are still barely grazing the ball. But the fact that you have to think about that is just something that I don't think that you got to consider against other teams. But I think the fact that he still, even though he plays more of a finesse game in terms of ball handling and shooting, I think that he does play like somebody who is 7'4", 7'5", or whatever he is, though, man. And I think that's what's surprising me the most is the fact that he looks the way that he does. And now my eyes are starting to understand him better as a player.
Yeah. Well, look, man, we can finish talking about hoops. We can finish talking about this 50 and T.I. and all other things get into it. First, we got to get this music popping off, bro.
Let's do it, man.
Hey.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you
of all time.
smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube, Facebook, and now Twitch page as well. Listen, we are live on all 3 platforms at the same time. Whenever you click on the notifications, you get the heads up whenever your boys and miss doing their thing. Ace Kennedy, we are on. And I don't know if we say this. Maybe this is like an old showing my age. Can I say this?
What's up?
We on Twitch, biatch.
Oh, my gosh. You've been waiting to say that. You've been practicing
Yeah,
that.
I've been waiting to say it. We are live on Twitch, biatch. I don't know if nobody's ever said that on Twitch anyway, though, man. But listen,
What's up?
we here though.
The other thing that surprised me, bro, on the hoops, though, is Boston. People thought they was gonna be in purgatory after the boy Jason Tatum went down, And the boy Jaylen Brown he been balling out, bro. What?
Can I say something on that?
What?
I didn't think that they was going to be in purgatory.
I know you didn't. I know you didn't.
I thought, right? I thought that they would maybe fall to fourth place at the lowest. But I'm one of the people that have gone on record and says I personally thought that Jaylen Brown was better than Jason Tatum. I thought that Jason Tatum was like there for some reason. I think that the organization kind of anointed him as the number one option. And I always thought Jaylen Brown was better. And so for me, I thought that I didn't think that Porzingis, the impact of losing him was going to be that big of a deal. I thought, if anything, them losing Drew Holiday was going to hurt them more. But seeing that didn't necessarily hurt them, I do think that defensively it does a little bit in terms of perimeter. But no, I'm not surprised, and I'm especially not surprised by the play of Jaylen Brown, though, bro.
Oh no, because I mean that just means he gets more shots. So that was definitely in the cards for that. You know, he was gonna get more shots. He was gonna get to do more. So I think that everybody just looks at the East as an opportunity because it's open, especially since the Pacers weren't gonna be the same. New York is always iffy. Like they made it very close, obviously, but they, always. And then the Bucks, nobody had them in the picture. Miami, ever since they got rid of Jimmy,
Is that this season though? Does that only apply? Because see, when LeBron was running through the East, everybody would say, "Oh, it was a weak East back then," which I didn't agree with. But okay, that's fine. But this year, I know that the East is especially weak. But I don't think it was weak last year. I thought that it was relatively competitive last year. The Pistons weren't quite what we thought, right? But yeah,
I know. But this year, it was more open because of the Bucks weren't really doing nothing. Nobody ever really counts on the 76ers anymore. Like I said, New York, they thought would be in the running. And then Boston, they thought they was going to fall off. Halliburton is out. So that's why they thought that the East was going to be pretty open.
You know what I think is interesting, man? I told you, I don't know why. I realized that for some reason, seeing the Knicks lose is like my NFL equivalent of watching the Cowboys lose, bro. Like for some reason, I don't think that New Yorkers realize it, right? Because they're in it, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that the Knicks fans remind me eerily of Cowboy fans, though, man. And I think that like when I was seeing like Stephen A. Smith when they were decent, when Jalen Brunson first got there, and it's like orange and blue skies and blah 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 blah, and I was just like, oh, and I had to think back. I was talking to Landon about my origin story for disliking the Knicks, and part of it was I did used to like John Starks, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I think that was interesting is that I thought that, all right, you know what? I didn't necessarily like the Knicks, but I liked him. But I still didn't like the Knicks like that. But it was fine. But then one of the things that topped the cake to me was when I think that in the late 90s is when the free agency really started to explode. And I saw Larry Johnson, my favorite player at the time for the Hornets, basically slides out to the Knicks. This was like maybe 97, 98 or something like that, though, bro. And I was crushed because my favorite player went to the team that I like at that time despised the most. And it just much more though, man. And so I was just like, I think that that's probably my Knicks hate origins probably starts around 97, 98 when Larry Johnson went there. It's almost like karma was trying to get at me for laughing at the Knicks for all that time though, man. So that was it. And then the fact that I liked John Starks and they trade him or let him go to the Utah Jazz, I was like, get out of my face, though, man. So I love to see the Knicks lose, though, personally.
Yeah. Yo, speaking, let's shift a little bit in basketball. So I've been hearing Sports Center and everybody kind of talk about the kid that's supposed to come out from Kansas,
Darren Peterson.
Yeah, what's up with him and his Kawhi-isms on load managing himself, pulling himself out the game? Like, is he really hurt? Like, what I don't follow college like that, and I know you more entrenched in it. So what's the deal with this young man?
Hey, listen, man. Okay, so I think this. I think, bro, and I could very well be wrong because he's never said anything, but you know me, and I like to read between the lines.
Between the
Me
lines.
reading, yes, read me reading between the lines. I think that this dude got some NIL money to go to Kansas. That's fine. I think everybody does. But I think that he is, I want to believe, bro, that he is protecting himself because I think that he feels like someone believes that he's going to be either a top 1 to 3 pick. And I think that it just depends on where where the ball drops. And he is plenty good. I mean, if you ever see him though, bro, listen, I think that the kid from BYU seems to be the same kind of dynamic of a player in terms of his impact, right? But I think that this kid, I feel like he is like, hey, I'm gonna play for y'all, but I'm not gonna risk my draft status. And so I honestly feel like he is there part-time to show y'all what he can do. And then the minute that he's shown what he can do, I think he falls back. And I think that that's a part that I think that drives people insane because Cooper Flag was there for Duke, probably got paid more, and I think that Cooper Flag played every game, never took any plays off, played defense. But listen, I honestly feel that this kid is basically being managed. And they was like, nah, that's enough though, bro. So you pulling yourself out and you saying his hamstrings. I don't think that it's going to be anything that will deter a GM from drafting him, but I think that it's a
That's
wink thing.
that's exactly where I was gonna ask you because I do think that that's gonna affect his. Because here's the thing: if you trying to pull this stuff now, right? My thing is, for one, you definitely ain't coming to Oklahoma City with that. My thing is, the league does not want another John Morant. The league does not want another John Morant. And the thing
I
is
agree.
that my thing is that the problem children era is over, bro. Like, ain't nobody trying to deal with that. Like, you see the diva stuff normally happening in football, but in basketball, it's a different league, bro. And the thing is that nobody's trying to deal with no problem. Like, we need you to come and impact us now. Because I mean, prime example, right? What's the kid that went to Utah last year that didn't want to do the combine?
Ace Bailey.
Right. That little bitty bit of controversy, again, not wanting to showcase your talent, and people was skeptical about it. And so my thing is that the more and more these kids get paid, and don't get me wrong, I'm for the kids getting paid. If you making money off me, then we need to make money. I'm for that. But this is also life-changing money that these kids have never, their families have never seen before. And people you start listening to these reports and believing anything, not understanding that you're one play away from your life changing. And I'm talking about even the start and stop, the start and go type thing can get you injured. You know, keeping your body warm and stuff like that, doing what you're supposed to do, taking care of yourself, creating good habits in college so that when you get to the NBA and it's a more taxing schedule, I do believe that some teams are deterred from getting them. I mean, it's going to be interesting because if you're a GM that's in the bracket to get a generational talent and you think he is a generational talent and you pass over him and then he goes and balls somewhere else on somebody who, you know, takes the chance on him. It's almost like when Chicago drafted Caleb Williams, right? We already had Justin Fields, only had him for 2 years. And it's like, as a GM, what do? Do you go after Caleb Williams, who is the number 1 pick, and you get him? So it's interesting, but I do believe it is. I do believe GMs are talking about it, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I think around the league, I would like to believe that these general managers already know that this kid is only there to showcase his NBA talent and not necessarily to help the team win games. Not necessarily if he do it in the process, I think that's fine. But listen, now here's the thing about it. Like Ace, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If you ever watched him play a game, right? You might not watch him the whole game,
Yeah, you ain't gonna get
but
to.
listen, You might not get to watch him the whole game, but he is better. He is better than everybody else on the court. Like I
Okay,
haven't seen a
but
game yet. I haven't seen a game yet where he's played, win or loss, where I thought that someone else they won because the other team had a better player. He's clearly better than everybody else, bro.
okay, one question. You his teammate. What you think about this?
Listen, if I'm his teammate, you gotta listen, you gotta eat it. You can complain about it all you want, but the minute that the coaches bring him there and if the coaches aren't saying anything more, then the coaches are riding with it though, right? And I just think that from that regards though, bro, yeah, if you're a player, if you're a college player, if you're saying, listen, I'm a sophomore, I'm a junior, I might not go to the NBA. All I have to look forward to is winning a college championship, right? And that may be the pinnacle of your basketball playing career. If you got this kid where he don't share the same goal as you, then it's like, yeah, I can understand why you got a problem with that. But if the coaches don't have a problem with that and you suiting up next to him, then it's like at that point, I don't know. But this is the thing though, bro. I'm talking about this kid, Darren Peterson, is good, plenty good. But here's the other part about it too, though, right? I think that people talk like, oh, it's Cameron Boozer. It's I never pronounced the kid from BYU's last name right, so I'm not going to even try to. And Darren Peterson as the 3. But there are some hoopers, bro. Some real hoopers in this draft. I think that there are probably 10 guys that are real hoopers that I think that can impact NBA games. There's this kid that's out at North Carolina State that I think reminds me of Scotty Barnes. But this is something that I got a question for you on. This is a segue into another comment about basketball, right? So during the All-Star game, Kevin Durant was asked about, hey, is the world basically catching on up to the NBA players and everything, right?
Mhm.
And with the last 5 MVPs or whatever being foreign-born players, is there a thing? And Kevin Durant's response, and I'm paraphrasing, was something like, listen, man, when y'all say that, y'all are basically saying that no, y'all are saying that the world is catching up to Black American players, basically. He was like, y'all saw when we've got out there to France, we spanked the boys, right? And he was like, so no, he was like, y'all, they throw these slights to the AAU program and everything like that, and everything's cool. Okay, so that's one thing. I would love to know your thoughts on that because when I look at this NBA draft, right, I see at least 10 guys that can make impacts on NBA teams right now. At least 10 of them, though, bro. And so I would be curious for you to think your thoughts on what Kevin Durant said and the impact of the global basketball community catching up or not with the NBA players.
I do not agree with Kevin Durant. I do believe the
Mm.
world is catching up. It's amazing that the last 3 MVPs have been foreign players, and the only reason those players haven't been named the face of the league is because they don't want to do that yet. Because Shea is on his way, barring the amount of injury time that he has left, to winning his second MVP. So that'll be 4 straight foreign
Do we
players.
consider Canada as foreign? Like, are they really foreign?
It is. It's when Shea plays in the worlds in the Olympics. Who does he play for? Another country.
So I get that, but here's my
Hey,
thing about
oh, that's another country, bro.
sure that's it is
I get
yeah,
it.
but I
I get
don't
it
really
because we have the Raptors in the NBA. I get it, but the Raptors is just another team. It ain't like only foreign players play on Toronto. But what I'm saying
that's
is,
true.
Luka's not from here. Joker's not from here. Shea is not from here. Murray is not from here. There's so many foreign players, and I can't even put Murray in there because Murray ain't impacting it like that. No
He
disrespect,
was an all-star finally this year.
huh?
He was an all-star finally this year.
Yeah, I get it, but to me, Murray he's still the second best player on his team, though, right? And there's sometimes he don't show up because I mean, let's be honest. Last year when Russ was there, to me, Russ was the number 2 because and I'm being honest. When they were showing the graphics on the TV, they were showing Joker and Westbrook.
Is it because Murray was hurt?
No, he was there. He just wasn't playing well. And then he got hurt too. But I'm saying it took him a minute to wake up. And granted, you know, Westbrook is on a different team now, but I'm just saying, all I'm saying is I do believe that the world is catching up to an extent because there are a lot of foreign players making impact on their teams and becoming the best players on their teams. So
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that.
okay.
I'm gonna tell you my only reason why I disagree with that sentiment is that I think that here's the thing about it. I think that I think that basketball now and the access to high level basketball is one of the things that I think that it's more accessible than it's ever been. When I say that, I mean the training of it. There's technically nothing at all that a foreign player wouldn't have access to that an American player would, except for the level of competition for similar ages, right? I think that the AAU circuit, while people talk about all of the things that you know the what's wrong with it, for what it actually does, I think that it is a breeding ground for next level NBA talent, though, right? And listen, I don't know. I know that they have those other, you know, the 17U teams and everything like that for all those other countries. But when I see those 17U games and scores, I always see the United States always smacking the other countries as well. And so I do understand that foreign-born player, but I look at it and I think that the caveat to that is that when they're foreign-born, very few of those foreign-born players, Giannis, for example, or Yo and Luka, I think that those are folks who off-season live in their country, train specifically with play in their country and everything like that. But a lot of the foreign players, like a Shea, like the other folks, they are foreign, but they polish their game off in the United States. So I don't think that they're catching up. I think that those people, the five, are more of an anomaly and an exception to the norm versus what you can expect going forward.
Here's the other reason why I believe that the foreigners are catching up is because there was a reason we had a redeem team.
Okay, so when you say that, right? So from those teams that won, you're talking about like Argentina and them winning golds, and they had about 3 or 4 NBA guys on their team, and those guys were largely role players. I think that the reason why I disqualified that, just my opinion on that one, is because I think that for the United States, I think that the Olympics was always like a gimme. And I think that it wasn't as much like a pride thing of, hey, I'm representing my country, right? I think that in those other countries, it is. It basically meant that you are the absolute best in that particular country. And I don't think that all of the previous Olympics have always represented the absolute best with no question.
Okay.
I think that the dream team, yeah, but there are some teams where I thought that we had the more talent to win. I think that other teams just wanted to win it more.
It doesn't matter what you're saying. It does, if you own the court, if we're that much ahead, we should win.
That's a fact.
So that's what I'm saying. We wouldn't have had to have a redeem team if they weren't catching up, because whoever we send over there, we're that much ahead, we should be over there dominating. That's what should happen.
But I think that I get that, right? I do think that while there are more foreign players that are in the NBA, right? I think that that's one thing, right? But I think that I just think that as granted, it's the National Basketball Association, right? And so now that they're saying we're borderless, everyone has access. I would like to believe, bro, that the NBA, when you tell me of the top 20 players in the NBA, if you tell me half of them are foreign born, maybe I'll believe you. But if you tell me it's only 5 of the top 20 players are foreign born, then I would like to believe that those 5s are more of the exception.
I hear what you're saying.
That's my thought.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But I do think that, I mean, like I said, because you tell me if you're in Canada, but you're playing in the EYBL circuit that's in the United States, you were born there, but you polished their game in the United States. You just were born there. It's not like you were back in the day when you had Arvydas Sabonis. He played all of his game out where he was at, though, man. And so I think that's just different to me.
Let me ask you this: who's the top 25 players in the league right now?
Oh man, see, you're gonna have me. I definitely think that you can say I'm just gonna say the foreign players, right? That I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, I would say Yoke, I would say Shea, you can say Luka, and Giannis are the four that just comes to mind. Right? The four that comes to mind.
What about Alien?
Alien is what? That's 5. Okay, so those 5. Okay, but then you still think you got KD, LeBron, Steph, they're still in the league. Who else you could put Anthony Edwards is still in the league. Hell, Russ is still in the league. Trae Young is in the league. You got guys that are still there. If you want to say that Embiid is foreign, he's a citizen of the United States. So if you want to,
he's a citizen now, but you know what I'm
saying.
saying.
Played at the USA team though, bro. But I'm saying right. So. Nah, I think that the NBA is large still. I do, like I said, I think that largely here's the reason why. Let me be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of times, to me, the reason why, if you really look at it, right, I think all of the foreign born players, right, that are out there in the league. I think that the biggest difference is, to me, is that, and this is just maybe I'm biased, but when I look at all of those teams, I think that all of those guys that are there, they are on teams where they've been afforded the opportunity because their teams were trash before they got to them, right? That's how they got there. So they had the opportunity to grow their game and build up their stuff. I think a lot of times, though, man, a lot of the American-born players, because we've seen so much of them, I think the expectation is that they take impact right away. There's very few times where you can take, like even now, you have like guys where they are drafted and you say, oh yeah, you could stash them away over in Europe in these Euro leagues for 3-4 years, 5 years. That was a normal thing. Like that wasn't a thing where you could just say until the G League where you could say, oh, we're going to draft the guy in the first round and we're purposely going to send him to the G League to polish his game. Like, nah, that's something that was only privy to foreign-born players, though, bro. So, like, nah, I don't think – and they still do that, though, bro. There are guys who literally were drafted in the first round that were foreign players that never came back to the United States, though, bro. So, I don't know, bro. So, like, I don't think so, but I'm inclined to agree with everything that KD said, though, bro. I think that I think that he's spot on. I don't think that it's – and listen, I'm not saying that it's not – I'm not saying that it's a wide margin, but it's not what people think.
Okay. What about KD and his burner account back in the news again?
I listen. Hey, listen, man. If you feel like I'm gonna say whatever the truth is, my truth, if it's coming from a burner account, then that is what it is. I don't have any problem at all with KD and his burner account. I wish if you feel that way, stand on it from your regular, but maybe he feels like his regular account is branded and he can't say certain things and he might feel, and I'm not mad at that. But if you feel like this is my truth, it's just coming out from this account, I'm not mad at him on that, bro. I'm not now. I understand it more than I did the first time I saw him using the burner account.
Yeah. All right, bro. Well, we jump into this beef or what, bro?
And listen.
Is it beef? Is it beef? I guess fifth.
It is now.
What happened?
So, okay. So T.I. had went on record with saying that he wanted to do a versus, but he didn't think that nobody could stand on the stage with him on the verse. Nobody, which that's another conversation. And so he said the only person that he would share a stage with was Wayne. And then Wayne wound up doing another with somebody else. They did the Cash Money. And I think that Wayne just wouldn't necessarily do it. But he said he thought that Wayne is his partner, apparently, and he thought that would be a good, hey, this is us doing our thing. But I think that he had a conversation with 50, and he was talking about, if they ever had that versus, we should do that, though, right? And I guess him and 50 on us in conversation kind of had the agreement that, if it ever presented itself, that it would. And he had to ask him about it again. And then after some point, and 50 just kind of, shook it off and everything.
Nah.
And so
that ain't what happened.
Tell me what happened.
So they had an agreement on how they was gonna do the rollout.
Okay.
Okay. So T.I. was supposed to say something first. Fifth was supposed to follow up. Like, you know, they had already created the landscape to get the buzz going. You know what I'm saying? To get the social media jumping off. So when T.I. stepped out there, then Fifth fell back, didn't say nothing, and tried to act like the conversation didn't happen. So from T.I.'s standpoint, he was like, nah, you just say you didn't want to do it, but you just sitting up here backsliding and doing all this other stuff. I'm not with, you know, I'm testing your character because you said you was gonna do this. We had an agreement, we had a rollout plan, we had all of these things lined up, and then all of a sudden you doing all the fake stuff, and then now you don't want to do it. And he left it alone, right? So then Fifth drops a meme of Tiny, and that's what set him off. And then
Well, so listen, I saw T.I. talking about it as well, right? I saw him on $1 million worth of game.
Yeah,
Got to mention.
yeah.
I saw him mention it somewhere else as well. And when he dropped the meme, that was it, though. But here's my thing, though, bro. This is the thing this is the one thing that I am curious about, right? It's because having just now saw on a larger scale Drake and Kendrick, right? For all intents and purposes, T.I. and 50 are out of their hip hop prime when it comes to popularity, right? This isn't like if this beef was in 2010, right? We would be talking about something 2008, 2007. This would be top shelf news, everything like that. But now it's so far gone. And my thing is that do you think that it doesn't have the same luster because of the age of both of them?
I disagree with you wholeheartedly.
I didn't say that that's the case. Wait. I'm just asking the question.
Well, you said because they were in their prime at a different time and age. This is what I'm saying. I disagree with what you said, then, whether you believe that or not. But this is why I disagree. Right. I think because of the Drake and Kendrick beef, people are more apt to be ready for the beef. Because it's like,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, the last one was an event. And then here it is, like you said, T.I. hadn't really put out nothing, right? But then he drops his single. The single is fire.
Two of them.
I know. The second single, then whenever, you know, the first quote unquote diss to 50, right? He puts that out. People are like, all right, I think this is about 50. And then he said, hold on, just to show y'all how serious I am, he drops the other one, the right one, and that one was direct shots at Fifth, like direct.
I love it.
If you break down the hook, bro, the hook got some crazy stuff in it. Like it's referencing the Street Fighter stuff. Like it's my son and my son. Like the man, it's crazy.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this though, bro. I don't expect 50 Cent to respond back musically whatsoever. And here's the reason why. I think that, to be honest with you, of all the beefs that 50 has, he's never responded back since Ja Rule musically. He did Rick Ross, but listen, I think if we're being honest, I think that Rick Ross came out on the top end of that beef because at that point, Ross' popularity, he had never been more popular after the 50 Cent beef. And I think that he survived and won that, right? Came out very unscathed. But I think that the part that I believe, though, man, is that looking back on it, right? He's came out with it since these other beats or these other little things. He's never responded back music, and maybe he's out of the music space and everything. But I know that T.I. is always active. He might not necessarily put the music out, but I think that his pen is always going. And so I honestly believe, though, bro, that the same way I think that T.I. watched where Kendrick put out some songs, a song, and then put out the song. I believe, bro, that T.I. has the song that's in the tuck that he is waiting, where it's like, I got another song if he says something. But I got one that's in the tuck that if he comes back musically, that I'm going to, and I don't think at all that 50's going to come back with him with
I
any
don't either.
music that's directed.
But he already even stated in the right way that Fifth is not going to respond musically, and that all you gonna do is put out a meme or something. Like you ain't gonna really do nothing. And I thought that was brilliant because it's like you called the shot ahead of time.
You're daring him to. You daring him to.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and listen, my thing is this though, bro. If 50 is the bully, right? Then it's just like, well, okay, well, it's cool when you're the bully, but when someone's calling the bully out, and all you gonna do is drop memes, and you a rapper, it's like, all right, bro. It's like now it just makes me start to look at you different. And here's my thing. I'm looking forward to this one because listen, I don't think that 50 can rap with T.I. though, bro. And if I was personally doing an all-time list, I have T.I. above 50. How much further up, it don't matter, but he's above. But in terms of rapping ability, I just don't think that 50 can just rap with him. And I would love nothing more than for 50 to prove me wrong, though, bro. But I don't think that he's going to respond whatsoever, though, man.
I don't either. And I honestly don't even want him to. I actually would love for T.I. to drop another one. But something that the Breakfast Club brought up, though, bro, they a little nervous that this could go a little left. Because both of them, like T.I. don't play about his. Like if T.I. is swinging on Floyd Mayweather, why would he not swing on Fifth if something? I'm just saying, like, I'm saying this could get physical.
I don't think that it's going to get physical because I just don't think that they are typically in the same spaces like that, in the same places, and they could. But I think that like T.I. is very much Atlanta. He has a lot of businesses in Atlanta. He does a lot of neighborhood development projects that are in Atlanta. So he is very much Atlanta through and through, right? So I don't think, but 50 does do a lot of business in Shreveport, and so he is in the South. I just don't really. I think that it's very likely that their paths could very well not cross unless they're like at an award show, something like that, though, man. But I don't think that it would get into a point of it being physical because I don't think that they're going to be in the same places at the same time.
Well, you say that, but the problem is the reason why they had the agreement to do the verses was because they were in Cali together for production stuff, because T.I. does have his own films, stuff, and he writes movies and does this, that, and the other. So they could be in the same space in Hollywood. It is a possibility. Again, I'm kind of with you. I don't think anything physically would happen, but sometimes the Drake and Kendrick beef has shown us that doesn't stop somebody's followers from doing stuff.
I just think that T.I.'s followers are so much more older, though, bro, and 50's are so much older that I don't think that his followers, their followers, are willing to just jump out there. But what I do believe, though, man, this is what I wholeheartedly believe. I don't know if all of New York is riding with 50 Cent. I can assure you that every corner within Atlanta is riding with Tip on this one, though, bro. Every single corner. I don't think that it's not even like it's not even like it's a difficult choice. It's the easiest thing you would ask somebody to do is to ride with T.I. because I honestly believe people like T.I., people like Luda, people like Jeezy, the Atlanta artists that you see, they're very Atlanta. They're authentically Atlanta. And I think that Atlanta will always ride with an Atlanta artist, though, bro.
Speaking of which, who is a better Atlanta artist, Luda or T.I.?
See, I don't like this. I don't like this conversation.
Why?
I don't because I don't want to choose.
But I'm saying
like
they both got a incredible catalog.
Yes, incredible catalog. I think it's a matter. very much impact. I think that it just depends. See, this is what I think. So I think that it's a matter of preference on what kind of music you want to listen to. I think that Ti music is a little bit more street. So I think that if you were into that space, I think that you would say Ti. I think that Ludacris has won a Grammy, and he is, I think that that's something to be said. And I think that he is not on the surface level. His music doesn't have the same content as far as being a trap rapper, based original trap rapper as Ti. So I don't know, man. I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I don't want to pick between Ti, Jeezy, or Luda, because I think that they're all peers
They are.
catalog wise. Yes,
I think they are peers,
wise.
and I think that's why it's a fair conversation to have. On you, they're similarly around the same age ish, as far as career wise. I mean, shoot, you can even throw 2 Chainz in there.
See, I think like this. I think that those guys, all three of those guys, Jeezy, Tip, and Luda, I would put those above 2 Chainz.
You absolutely, because 2 Chainz was signed to Luda at a point.
Yeah, even that. I mean, hell, Drake was signed to Wayne, and some people would say Drake is their GOAT. So I'm not. That's not even the thing. I just think that the content, the lyrical content, I put them just higher than 2 Chainz. But listen, I'm probably I never meet somebody who's a bigger 2 Chainz fan than me. People seem to believe, like, I think that it's crazy to me that how much I like 2 Chainz as an MC, as a song maker. I think he makes great songs, bro. And people think that his stuff is so basic, but I'm one of the people that appreciates what 2 Chainz does, though, bro. I'm a big 2 Chainz fan.
There was one more question I wanted to ask you musically. There it is. T.I. said he believes that nobody could stand on the stage with him. Is there somebody that you think would be a great versus with T.I.?
There's plenty. I do think that Ludacris would be a great versus with him. And it just, to me, it depends on the songs. We always say that depends
always. Yeah.
If they let me listen, if somebody lets me go through their catalog and pick out their songs, I can think of 20 of them things that I think that could compete and edge T.I. If you let me pick the 20, I think that Future has the catalog. I think that if you want to say Outkast has the catalog. And I'm just talking about just Atlanta. I don't think that anybody.
I was gonna take it outside Atlanta. I was gonna let me ask you this: would the bar be too high to have T.I. versus Jay-Z?
I think that Jay-Z is the greatest rapper of all time. So I think that Jay-Z would win. And here's the thing about it. I honestly believe that Kendrick would win in a versus against T.I. as well.
Okay. What about Wayne and T.I.?
I think that would be a great combination. And here's the only problem is this. Wayne has great records. I honestly believe, man, that when we're talking about just one-off songs, if you're removing the Hot Boy stuff, right? If you take away all the Hot Boy stuff and you say just put out just stuff that you did as solo, I think that T.I. might have a point. While Wayne might be the better all-time artist, I think that T.I. might just have, in terms of just individual songs, I think that he might get him.
I don't know. I think it would be closer than you think. I really do, because I get what you're saying about, because I was talking to Philosophical, and we was talking about. I just was trying to give him
shout out to the Rap Room review, the Rap Review Room.
Yeah, I was just talking to him, and I was making a point about, we were talking, like we say, song selection, right? And I said, technically, Omarion should have crushed Mario.
Yes.
And he was like, what are you talking about? Omarion don't have no hits. I said, bro, you crazy. And he was like, nah. And he says, you take away the B2K. I said, but you can't take away the B2K. I said, because here's the thing. He was the lead singer in B2K. And the only reason B2K wasn't at the Versus was because they had beef. They were originally slated to be there. But at the same token, even still, it had nothing to do with, first of all, he does have hit. It didn't matter what Omarion did because Mario was out singing him. It didn't matter what Omarion did. Omarion had dancers, he had Watermelon, he had everything, and it was no match for The Voice.
Listen, I think that I would understand. Here's my thing about it. Okay, I think that they have, if you remove the B2K, right? If we're doing that, if you remove the B2K, I think that they may have the same number of hit records. Then it's a matter of whose hits are bigger hits. And for that regard, right, I think that Mario has bigger hit records.
A bigger hit. He has one bigger hit. He has Let Me Love You.
No, his first song that he came out with was that Just a Friend. It's to me, Just a Friend is big as okay, put like this. To me, Just a Friend is as big as Icebox.
Where do you have O?
O's not bigger than the other Let Me Love You.
I said that already. I said Let Me Love You is the biggest hit out of all of it.
Okay, but then I think that O is probably about the equivalent of Icebox. So yeah, I think Just a Friend is bigger than Icebox and O. Personally.
Okay, even if that's the case, that's two, right? Let me see here. You got me, because I gave him a list of hits. Because he got Icebox, he got O, he got hold on.
Used to be. Used to, like used to. What's the one that he got used to be? The used to. If your girl ain't close to me, she ain't going home like me.
Yeah, that's his biggest commercial hit. But he got Icebox, he got Supposed to Be, he got O, he got Touch, he got Entourage, he got MIA.
I used to love Entourage. I don't know about MIA. Entourage is tough. But Entourage isn't as big as O and the other ones. But I think that Entourage is I think that Entourage is probably one of my favorite ones out of those.
I'm Trying to is the joint.
All right, if you go by that list, I think that's a beatable list, bro.
It is, because like you said, you took but what name Mario.
So he got the Braid My Hair joint that I think was real dope back in the day.
Braid My Hair couldn't.
He got Loving You. Listen, he got Loving You. Loving you. And why would you work my do? That was jam though, bro. And then he still got the Just a Friend. And then he got the other joint that Neo wrote that we was talking about. You gonna have to make me go through the Mario catalog now, though, man.
I pull it up. I got you. All right, so Mario got Let Me Love You, Just a Friend, Crying Out for Me,
Crying Out for Me,
How Do I Breathe, Break Up.
Break Up, How Do I Breathe is tough.
Braid My Hair.
Crying Out for Me is tough, bro.
I think they got about the same amount of hits. That's why it was a good verse.
It is a good one. I think though, bro, it's like this. I look at it and say, then it comes down to it like, okay, they have the same number of hits solo, right? But then it's just a matter of, okay, if you say just solo, then who has the bigger hits? Some of the songs will cancel each other out. And then if you say the Let Me Love You, if that's the biggest hit of those, then that's why I think he nudges the win on that.
Yeah, but either way, it doesn't matter, because performance-wise, you can't get, like, I don't care how many dance moves Omarion does, bruh, your vocals ain't gonna hold up. And that was the problem. Because it's different when you talking about an R&B versus, because I need to hear you.
You see, but that's the thing about it. But then it's like, well, what are you judging the verses off of, though? Are we just because see, this is the problem that we had when we did the Cash Money versus No Limit. Because see, I think that to shout out to the homie Mark. Mark knows everybody made a point. He said, listen, if we're basing it off of the song or the performance, Cash Money got dog walked by No Limit by several songs that weren't as big as some of the Cash Money songs, but their performance and presentation was clearly better.
Yeah, but
I'm just looking off of just song for song.
But I also think it was the placement, though, because here's the thing, like you said, you had when we did the thing, you had Cash Money winning just when we were just naming songs.
Yes.
But that's just like the Jada Kiss them one that you was telling me about.
Yes. You never did go and watch that whole thing.
No, I never watched it.
Oh my God. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. It's not just for verses. The Dipset Locks is probably, I want to say it's a top 10 moment in the entirety of hip hop, bro. And I'm talking about, this is up there when you talk about memorable. Not just, I'm talking about like when people think about when Suge Knight got up there and said, yeah, if you want to, if you tired of the producer getting up there saying getting all of your records and things, it's up there with that. It's up there with Andre 3000 saying, yeah, I'm hearing a lot of booing, but the South got something to say. I'm talking about like non-performance, non-music-wise moments, like radio moments. It's one of them times, though, bro. Yeah, it's a top 10 moment in hip hop to me.
I believe it. I believe it. And maybe one day I'll go back and watch it. But, you know, all that to say, though, I would love to see T.I. I would love to, you know what? For the performance aspect, I would love to see T.I. versus Busta Rhymes.
So I listen, I'm one. Listen, I think Busta got the songs. The Busta 20 songs. If Busta let me pick his 20 songs, I think Busta would win.
But Versus has switched. They ain't doing 20 songs no more. They doing like 10 now.
See, that might be because of time constraints. But listen, if Busta you're limiting a lot of songs, bro. You are limiting a lot of content to. If you say, give me your top 10 songs,
even if we did,
here's my thing
though. You're only cutting off 5.
Yeah, but even then, though, right there are people who I believe, bro, that their 15 songs could beat a lot of high profile people, man. Like, I think Busta's top 15 songs might be hard. Like, I might be willing to bet Busta's top 15 songs. Now, when you talk about 15 to 20, maybe outside of that range, and you give them a little bit of room for that. But Busta Rhymes is top 15, especially 10. I think that Busta's top 10 songs, like T.I.'s songs, where if he performed them in Atlanta, would be way crazier than they would, I think, if he performed them anywhere else. And that's where I think that it matters. The crowd response would matter a lot.
Put it in neutral ground. Put it in Vegas.
I don't know, man. That Las Vegas crowd was dead, bro. For No Limit, them, bro. Like, nah.
I mean, I'm okay with it being in Atlanta, to be honest. It ain't like Busta ain't great.
I think that, bro, if you put T.I., I think T.I. is only beatable by another Atlanta artist in Atlanta, bro. I don't think, and that would be tough. Like, I think
have it in New York then.
If you put it in New York, I think T.I. would lose to Busta Rhymes. Yes.
That's why I said it need to be in a neutral site. Put it in Texas. Put it in Dallas.
Put it in Houston, bro.
There you go.
Yeah. Put it in Dallas, Houston. But if you put it in New York, I think that Busta's gonna win. If you put it in Atlanta, I think T.I. will win. And listen, I don't think it'll be close. Hey, man, what you got for the week, bro?
Man, They're supposed to start reconstruction on the house soon. The guys coming Friday to I guess get the final measurements or assessment or whatever. Other than that, bruh, that's it. Just I mean, it's still in disarray. Like if I was to pan out, it's terrible over here. So
Well, are you in record mode?
no, I'm
In
not.
position to record?
Not in a position to record right now. Only because, like I said, it's you can't see what's behind me. It's in disarray. It's
Yeah.
bad. It's very bad.
Listen.
Plus,
I got like 3 songs, bro,
mhm.
that I would love to have you jump on, though, bro.
I would,
I
and
only
I would,
want
and I would love to get on them. I would love to get on them. There, like I said, if you was to be here, off to the side, there is a big hole in my wall where you can see. I can see my water heater from right here.
no.
So you hear it.
Yeah.
You constantly hear it. So yeah, it's just it's so much. It's one of those things. It's aesthetic, right? Like you know how
Yeah.
you just see stuff everywhere and it's unnerving. It's unwrapped, and so it's hard to even be focused. Like me and Sarah was talking on the way back from her appointment, and she was like, "Man, just being in the house right now depresses me because there's just stuff everywhere, and it's gonna get worse because before it gets better." Because we still are sleeping and living in our room, but when they get ready to start doing the work, everything's got to come out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna have to
Ooh.
relay carpet, and they got to do drywall and they got to paint. So it's gonna get worse. So
Yeah.
with all that being said, no, I'm not in record mode, but trust me, I started recording one of the songs that you wrote. So and I would love to finish that. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I got at least 2 that I think that look at this. I got at least 2 where I would put at least one of them out as just like an extra single that ahead of it. Like one of the songs that I got, like I would love to put it out springtime just to put something out there when it's warm. It's pretty dope though, man. But I'm pretty excited, man. I've been back in the lab heavily. And I think the one thing that's been real cool, man, is that I've been on my engineering tip real heavily, right? And while I've parked some of my own stuff, it's still one of those things that, musically, when you kind of learn little tidbits here and there, you can apply them on yours. So it's like now I got more vocals from the from PBR and from the Fresh Eight Boss. And I'm able to kind of apply some different techniques and everything mixing wise though, man, that will only make mine sound that much more. Because even now, when I listen to some of the mixes that I've done for their music, and I go back and listen to songs that I have that are mastered, I was just like, yeah, I probably need to go ahead and retouch up some stuff though, man. And so that's where I've been at here lately, where I've gotten back into a space where I'm very heavily in music. Somebody was like, yo, when you putting out something, it's about that time. And I was like, listen, man, when you see the Bel Air pictures being posted more frequently, just know that it is Bel Air season, man. So yeah, we getting it popping though. It's coming.
Yeah, well, just like you were saying, as far as musically, that's how I am photography wise, because I've had a couple of projects. I just finished editing all of Carly's senior pictures. She's reviewing them now. I got another project that's coming that I'm shooting Saturday. So yeah. Man, senior season, because I've had to do a couple of basketball videos for people. I got I have 3 senior picture shoots set up. So yeah, the camera work is where I'm kind of at, which gets me out the house so I don't have to, see it. But yeah. But anywho, listen, we are the Slash Brothers, and for those of you guys that do not know us on the Twitch scene, we talk about everything, pop culture, sports, anything. We talk about it. We even throw in a little politics. We don't.
If it's current, we talking about it. If y'all talking about it, we talking about it.
Yeah. So thank y'all for joining us. Join us every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And from ATL to OKC, we are the Slash Brothers, and we'll see y'all next time.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of
Yup.